Hello Cancer, welcome back to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. I hope you enjoy the insights here in this reading. Please take what works for you. It may also apply to someone you are close to at this time. I have shuffled and laid out the cards, so let's start now. So I work through the 12 houses of the zodiac, and the cards appear in each house and they bring with them insights and just a general guideline for what's going on for you at that time. For you Taurus, in the first house you have lunar eclipse, which signifies change. The first house is always to do with your body, how you appear to others, your actual appearance, your physical appearance, body language. It's also to do with what you're projecting outwards, your personality, your character, and so on. What you're projecting outward to others, how they're receiving you. So with lunar eclipse appearing in there, you're undergoing some kind of transformation, some sort of change. And this is possibly going to be going through cycles. So if it's to do with the physical body, perhaps you're starting a change of life or undergoing some other transformation, whether it be starting a new regime, a physical regime, could be exercise of some sort, but basically it's a transformation of your outer self, and this will possibly follow the phases of the moon as well. You could also be finding that you're putting on a little bit of weight, and that you're just changing in general, and there's nothing really to concern yourself with at this time. You know, as long as you're eating healthily and you're looking after yourself and you're doing a lot of self-care, then just go with the flow. Lunar eclipse, it is a phase. It's going to go through phases, and so you may just find that some days you're feeling, really feeling it, and other days you're not. And also it could be to do with what you're projecting outward. You're undergoing some sort of transformation, so other people are going to pick that up. They're going to perceive you differently to what you have been up till now. Then in the second house, this is all to do with your income, your money, and also to do with your values and the things you love, and property, land, your environment, and so on. So you've got Aries, I am appearing in their very powerful fiery sign. So it's the get things done sign. So when it comes to your money, your income that's coming in, it looks to me like you're actually feeling quite powerful. You're actually making progress. You're taking action on what it is you need to do. Just make sure that you're harnessing the energetic and power that comes, the energies and the power that comes with Aries, and you're not being overly impulsive and making impulsive purchases, with the idea of owning something just because you want it in your mind. Your second house has to be practical because it's your income. So make sure that you're applying this energy and this drive and this ambition practically, and that it's actually going to be working for you. Could be if you're making a property purchase or something like that, the Aries is going to make you quite determined and quite forceful as well. Or it could just be to do with your values. You may be challenged on that somewhere else in your chart, and you're standing firm, you're standing strong on that. Again, just don't go over the deep end and actually blast away, burn your bridges about things. Be practical but determined and focused, and harness the Aries energy. Then in the third house you have Leo, I will. So I do feel this may be to do with purchasing and making some kind of going through some sort of contract. Perhaps it's purchasing land, or just handling contracts in general, or it could just be about pursuing what you want. But Leo appearing in your third house is quite a strong sign. Again, it's another fiery sign. You're going to be in the spotlight. The third house is all to do with communication in all forms, whether it's written or verbal, anything to do on the media, anything that you're contributing to from a communicative point of view. Leo is quite a powerful sign. You're going to be the center of attention. You're going to be really bringing the Leo power in. And Leo does love luxury as well. So when it comes to making your purchases, just make sure, as I said, that they're practical and that they're going to work for you, and it's going to enhance you realistically. And right, so it's a positive influence in your third house. As I said, it can also cover legal contracts. So if that is your job, if that's what you're doing, or if you're working in the media, then Leo is going to make you feel powerful. You're going to be projecting powerful vibe, and people are going to be picking up on that. Then in your fourth house, you have Sun and Spirit. Again, another fiery influence. So your fourth house is all to do with your home, your roots, and your foundation. Your roots being where you grew up, how you grew up, your foundation in your home, and then your current home where you live. So if you are purchasing a home or a new home, or you're moving or something like that, you're going to be bringing your particular energy into your home, which is a good thing. And you're going to harness those sun energies. You'll bring your spirit into whatever it is you're doing. If you're going to be redoing your home, either renovating, or if you're going to be perhaps changing the interiors, to bring your essence into that, lighten it up, make it warm, make it welcoming, put your full spirit into it, and make your home your castle. And it could also, as I said, also be to do with reflecting on your past, how you grew up, your foundations. You may be feeling very, very positive and happy moving forward. But I do feel it may be to do with a home, possibly a change of home, or a renovation, or some kind of change within your home environment. And so that's definitely coming up, and just make sure that you harness your full essence in that when it comes to making your home your castle. Then in the fifth house, your fifth house, you have Saturn return, which is age related. This is to do with Saturn return is always about it's a cycle that you go through. There are two main cycles in your life. And this is all about bringing wisdom, maturity, and responsibility in. So it's falling in your fifth house, and this is about everything to do with creativity, having fun, romance, love affairs, recreation of all kinds. Even gambling falls under that. So whichever one of those areas is highlighted for you, Saturn return is always about contemplation about what you've achieved so far. You may feel a bit restricted. You may feel like you've not been acknowledged, that your skills and talents are not being acknowledged, you're not being appreciated. You may feel all of those, which can happen with Saturn, but Saturn ultimately brings the wisdom in. It brings in maturity. So as long as it's also about hard work. So if you are tackling a project, or if you are approaching something which is, which is requiring a lot of your creativity, you've got to put your shoulder to the wheel and be prepared to put the work in. And also Saturn brings in structure. It brings in foundations as well. So you can't build something, however your creative side might be singing about it and enjoying it. You can't build something solid and great without a good structure, and that's what Saturn does. Saturn brings in structure. So you may just be feeling like you're in the nuts and bolts of things, and you may feel a little bit repressed, feeling that you don't have the full freedom that you want. But it's ultimately, if you apply your work and you apply Saturn's skills, if you bring Saturn skills to the fore, then ultimately you will receive the abundance that you require. But at this time, you just may be feeling a bit restricted, but it's requiring of you to really apply yourself and get a good structure in place. If it's to do with, the fifth house can also be to do with children. You may be having some issues to do with a child that's particularly Saturnian, or you just may be feeling that your responsibilities are very great in this house at this time. Again, It's wisdom, maturity. Put your shoulder to the wheel. Just work your way through it. Work solidly and steadily through the challenges that come up, because you will get the reward later, but you've got to put the work in. And if it is a love affair of some sort or romance, well, Saturn return means it's going to be a little bit tough going. So you may be having a bit of a romantic drought at this point. But that's because possibly there's a bit of self-examination going on. If it's to do with sports and recreation, you've got to put the work in. And once you do that and you work through those cycles, then the reward comes later. For the 6th house, you have Taurus. This is coming into your 6th house, which is your house of work, your work projects, your daily routines, your work colleagues, your workplace. And it's also to do with mastery, self-mastery in the craft that you've chosen, or whatever field that you're working in. So it's self-mastery in that, honing your craft, and then also to do with health and pets. So Taurus is a very stable sign. It's a very earthy sign, doesn't like a lot of change. They like things to be chundering along in a very steady pace. Taurians like luxuries. They enjoy their luxuries, but they like their stability first. They like to get the money sorted out. They like to be putting money away, squirreling money away for the future. They're not fly-by-nights. They build solidly. So bring all those elements into your 6th house. You may be exposed to Taurian type people in your work environment who are very stable, grounded people, which is a good thing. You've got to have all kinds in a successful work environment to keep the balance. Taurians are good with their money. Like I said, they're stable. They like to have a stable environment. So that person could be bringing that in, or it could be that you need to bring those elements into your workplace, into your work projects. And if it's to do with health, stay grounded. Put the work in for yourself. Make sure your diet is working for you. Keep things stable. And don't make too many changes at this point. Just try and go for a solid routine, which you can live with and which is going to benefit you later. It's a stable sign to be having there, and you've just got to work with the Taurian influences. Then in your 7th house, you've got Uranus, which is all about genius, but it's also about change, and very quick change at that. So this is going to be in your 7th house, which is your house of relationships. This is one-on-one personal relationships. It can also be a one-on-one business relationship, partnerships of all kinds. And it's the energy between you. So how it works is that in your 5th house, that's where the love affair occurs. It's the fun, the romance, the light, the bright, the bubbliness, the beauty of it. And then you move into the 7th house, which is actually the solid commitment between two people. And you've got Uranus coming in there. Uranus can be unbelievably explosive. It can absolutely change your world overnight. So expect some changes coming up in your relationship, your personal one-on-ones, or your business relationship. It could just be a shift. It could be a positive shift, or it could seem like a massive, unbelievable shock and upheaval. But out of that, once the dust is settled and you're starting to move forward again, you will start to see the path forward. It can be like a lightning strike. It can be that quick. But it could also be bringing the Uranian principles into your relationship. Uranus is the higher octave of Venus. It's a more humanitarian aspect. It's a universal love. It's not particularly personal. So what it may mean is that you may need to raise the vibration of your relationship, your personal one-on-one relationships, to a higher level, to make it more universal. Lift it up to a higher octave, so that the dramas and the daily scuffles that go on in a relationship, you rise above that. You lift your vibration up. Look at things from a higher perspective and look at the bigger picture. It could also be that you could be meeting or going into a solid relationship with a Uranian type person. That's Uranus rules Aquarius. So Aquarian type people who are quite advanced technologically, they like tech, and they could also, like I said, they have the humanitarian principles. They're not overly affectionate, but they enjoy the higher aspects of a person, of a relationship. They don't enjoy the daily dramas, the daily grind. They prefer to be looking at the bigger picture. They're visionary. All right. So you may be encountering somebody that, or going into a relationship with somebody like that, or it could be a business partner, as I said. And Uranus brings genius into any interaction. So possibly if it's if it's a business partnership, then that is you can harness those abilities, really apply the air qualities of this aspect, which is analytical, visionary, and taking and tech, advanced tech, taking all of that into consideration if it's a business partnership. Then in the 8th house, you've got Chiron. You've got Chiron as a comet, and it's all about healing. So in your 8th house, this is the house of death and rebirth. So it can be symbolic death and rebirth, and it's the house of sexual pleasure and the resources between committed partners. It also covers big finance, so taxes, investments, and legacies, insurance, and inheritances, that sort of thing that applies to you. So it's big finance. It's not the daily income which comes from your 2nd house. This is big finance. So make sure that you are going over. You may have had past dramas that have affected you deeply in any one of those spheres. Just make sure that you are looking at things and looking at things with a higher aspect. If it's to do with a deeper relationship, resources to do with a relationship, look at it from a higher aspect that take the personal hurts out of things and look at it from a higher aspect. Raise your vibration, and if it's to do with problems that you've had in past finances, move forward and heal those aspects that have hurt you or cut you deeply in the past. And so take what has passed away symbolically and rebirth it. Bring out the new aspects, things that are going to work with you and that you can take forward with you. So if for some reason you have a devastating relationship breakup, and now you're having to separate all the resources between you, you're going to have to just work through that diligently and look after your health while you're going through that, and take the high road. Take the high road in those areas. Also with Chiron in this house, if you're grappling with a physical issue, a health issue, Chiron brings about healing through a bit of pain. So it's wisdom through pain. So you may have to go through a bit of a dark period, but once you do the inner healing, once you look at yourself, go through, put things in the past, and take on a higher aspect in yourself and look at things more universally. And you may have to look at different types of medicine. You may have to look at homeopathy, naturopathy, any of the natural sciences. It may be a combination of both that you're going to move forward with, but there will be healing coming about in one of those areas. So it could be a particular medicinal approach, or it could be a natural healing method that you need to look at, or a combination of them. But it's a case of working through that steadily. Then in the 9th house, you have the South Node. This is all about the past. When we come into life, into the life we've chosen, the South Node is all about your past, what you've dealt with and what you need to put to bed. Your North Node is all about your future and what you're aiming for. So it's appearing in your 9th house. The 9th house is all to do with long distance travel, foreign things, any kind of foreign things like import, export, or dealing with foreign people, or being more on a global stage. If you're, perhaps on the internet and you're now dealing with people in foreign countries, that sort of thing. It's also to do with publishing, religion, your beliefs, any kinds of beliefs, and philosophy, higher learning. So if you're embarking on a university education, or you're thinking of studying again as a mature person, it covers all of those things. And so it looks, when you've got the South Node appearing in there, you need to clear away the past. Whatever is appearing in any one of those areas, you need to clear away the past, put it to bed. Because you can't move forward into your future if you're still dragging a whole lot of baggage from before. So whether this is karmic, in other words, from past lives, or something from before, or it could have just been past experience in any one of those areas that I've mentioned. Perhaps perhaps you need to put something to bed. You've done it, you've dealt with it, you've worked through it, and now you need to move forward. It could just be opening doors to your future. But it's to do with putting the past to bed and actually clearing it, closing those doors and moving forward. Then you've got in the 10th house, which is your house of career, ambition, status, your public status, fame, anything like that. It's to do with Cancer, I feel, is appearing in there. And Cancer is a feeling sign. It's a water sign. It's the sign of the crab. It's also ruled by the moon. So if this is to do with your career, you're going to be going through some sort of phase. This might be tying in with how you're projecting yourself in your environment, but you're going to be going through the phases of the moon, or it will feel like you are going through those phases. So you've just got to go with it. You're also going to be super sensitive, so you might just find that especially if it's to do with a career, that you're going to be super sensitive about what's going on in your career, how to move yourself up the ladder. And it could also just be a change of social status. You can be, Cancerians they like their privacy. And sometimes they go within, they go into their shell because it's necessary, they need to do that. But they're also very sharp about looking after their interests. They're very quick to bring out the claw if they feel that something's off, or that they're being taken advantage of. So hence the word crabby. Some Cancerians can appear to be crabby because that's what they do. They defend themselves if they feel that they're in trouble for some reason, or that they're being threatened. So, but if it's to do with the flow of your career, you're going to be going through phases. If you have if you're the person on the center stage, if you're in the spotlight for some reason, you may find that this ebbs and flows. And you may need to periodically withdraw or retreat to refresh your energy, so that when you come back into the spotlight again, that you're feeling able to cope with it. So that's that influence there. In your 11th house, you've got the air element, which is all about communication. And your 11th house is all to do with your friendships and your networks and the groups that you're part of. So this can be online as well, or it could be physical groups, where you actually go to meet once a week or however often you do it. But it's also really about friendships as well. And so the air element in there, you may be hearing things about people that you know. Gossip is never a good thing. It's never a good thing. So make sure that you're not passing on information about others which could one day come back to bite you, or that is unfounded, or it's just not resonating with you, So, or you could be hearing things about other things, and you may need to investigate for yourself about possibly the truth of the matter. Or it could be you having to communicate very clearly to your close friends, or in your friendship circle, or in your networks, and in your groups. You need to communicate really clearly about whatever it is, whether it's your point of view or putting your opinion forward. The air element is all about communication. It's also very analytical, looking at all the facts, coming to a logical conclusion, but it's analyzing. It's all forms of communication, and speaking clearly. And if you're not the kind to speak, then write it. but make sure it's clear, and that the airwaves are clear, that they're not getting disturbed by false perceptions that may be creeping in, whether it's yours or somebody else's. Okay, right. Then in the 12th house we have Mercury, which rules the mind. Now your 12th house is all to do with your unconscious reality, you know, so your unconscious mind, your drives, your hidden motives, anything that's under the surface. It's also to do with spirituality. It's to do with your psychic abilities, any of those abilities, and it's also to do with, on a practical level, it's all to do with coming to contact with people that have addiction problems, or you could be exposing yourself to addictions of some sort. Or it could also be visits by you to various types of institutions for whatever reason. So an institution could be a hospital, a prison, a bank, a government department. You know, there are many kinds of institutions. It can also be a university. So if you are undertaking a form of study, which is coming up in your 9th house, or you're reflecting back on perhaps the times when you were younger and perhaps it was better for you, or you're reflecting back on the past from that point of view. You're applying Mercury mind, which is the analytical side to that. So you have to apply your mind to whatever it is that's coming up for you in the 12th house. It could just be the waking up of your abilities, your psychic abilities, and it's all to do with perception, your mind. Applying your mind to something. You could be seeing visions, and then you interpret the visions for people as guidance. There's all kinds of applications for this. It could also just be bringing the analytical abilities into your, when you're approaching an institution of some sort, whatever it might be, bringing the analytical abilities in. It's also electronics. And so if you are a psychic worker and you're working in using those, you may be bringing the electronic side into it. You're going to be bringing the analytical side into it, analyzing what it is you're doing. Or it could just be that you need to have a look at your inner beliefs and your spirituality, and just have a thorough look at everything, and perhaps deal with it. If there's something underneath there, which, in your subconscious, which has perhaps dogged your progress in the past, or set up something in you which needs to be changed, it's a change of attitude, basically. So change your mind, change your attitude, move forward. But you've got to be using your analytical abilities in that. Okay, well, have a wonderful month. Thank you very much.